This video is kind of for the contractors, installers, handymen, DIY guys, just to kind of give some tips of what I've found so far when installing cluster boxes. So a CBU is mounted, cluster box CBU is mounted on a pedestal, and that pedestal is mounted to the ground on a concrete slab. And that pedestal is fastened with a 1/2-inch wedge anchor, usually stainless steel, 4 of them. And you've got to drill holes in the concrete with like a hammer drill, and then you would set the pedestal in place. And so when you unbox a CBU, if you were to order one, this is what you're provided, and this is a drill template. And this template has the holes that the pedestal will rest on the ground, bolt on, and then the cluster box will mount to that. And this is a standard. This is 4-inch by 10-inch. And so you have these marks here in each corner where you drill your holes, and if everything's perfect, then you fasten everything down with your wedge anchors. So you'll see this. So what I've kind of done, and I found as a system that works for me, is I've actually welded up this plate, and it's got the same holes, 4-inch by 10-inch, but this is my drill guide that I'll use. And so one thing I've just noticed by installing cluster boxes often is sometimes I'll see some of the bolts that are set in the ground, they're kind of crooked. And I really want to make sure every install, the bolts are standing straight up and down. So this guide here, when the 1/2-inch bit I drill in, this acts as a guide, so I know that we're drilling straight down into the ground, which can sometimes be challenging just using the piece of paper. And not only that, sometimes this piece of paper will move around on you, so you got to make sure that your holes are pretty spot on. So anyway, so I have a drill jig here. It's got 4 holes, so once I drill a hole, I can drop an anchor in, and then I can just go ahead and drill my other 3 holes. And I know that because these are fixed, all my holes are going to be in the perfect spot, and the pedestal is going to fit right on top of the bolts. The other thing or advantage to this plate in my mind is often you're mounting, sorry this is a little loud, I have it on a towel, but often the surface that you're mounting on isn't level when you're mounting a cluster box. There might be a slight slope, an angle on the sidewalk. And so also in here is 4 like thumb screws. And so what I'll do is I will, before drilling my holes, I'll take my level, and I want to make sure everything is plumb. So let's just imagine, like, this is perfectly level here now, but let's just imagine we're on a slope. So what I would do is I would screw these down until I see that we're perfectly plumb. And this can go in multiple directions if we're on an angular slope. And so then I know that everything is perfectly plumb before I drill the holes. And then often because the box is set off the ground at an angle like this, what I can do then is flip it over, and now I can see how many threads are exposed to get this box in a plumb position. So what you do there is you use washers. And so right here quickly, I can see how many washers I need on each drill point. I don't have enough washers here on hand, but I can see how many washers I need on each drill point that I've made to ensure that the final product is plumb. And so what I'll do is I say, okay, great. This one is X amount of washers. This is the front right, as I flip this over. So I would flip it over, okay. In this hole, I'm gonna put this many washers, this hole, that many washers, and so forth. I think you get the idea, but those will all set on top of the wedge anchors that are sticking out of the concrete, just like so. And those will rest right against the ground. And then what I'll do from there is, now I'm done with this jig, I'll take my pedestal, set it down, and fasten it up. So I just want to share that tip with you. So maybe if you're installing many of these for yourself, maybe you want to weld up a jig. I found it very helpful for myself. But I also want to know what people are using out there. So if you have a different system or a similar system, I'd love to know and drop it in the comments. Anyways, I hope you found that tip useful, and see you next time.